Well, this is again a continuation. Now, self appraisal and self awareness is also part of performance appraisal process. To all of you guys, this is all about module 2, that is performance appraisal process. Now, if you look at the previous session of 16 minutes, what you saw, it was all about identifying the KRAs, KPAs, the SMART goals, and you're focusing more on the matrix of preparing a performance plan. And then we got into performance analysis. Okay, now again, you have self awareness and self appraisal being part of performance appraisal process. Okay, we'll just run through this because this, I think, most of you are aware about the concepts. Now, why do you think appraisals are done, self appraisals are done? Because you as an employee, you should understand what are your achievements, what are your failures, isn't it? What capabilities you lack, or what competencies that you're lacking, or what competencies you are able to exhibit, isn't it? Now, self appraisal, which will actually tell you to design your own development needs. In self appraisal, you tell us where you stand, isn't it? You tell us what are your strengths related to your job, what are your weaknesses related to your job. You also tell us what training you would like to have, what developmental needs that you want. You also tell in self appraisal what are those factors that that support you want from the organization, the support in terms of resources, in terms of people, in terms of money, and so on. Now, here in purpose of self appraisal is to understand what our employees need, what type of support that he requires from the supervisor, or it could be from the organization. Now, it is also a communication tool, I can say, wherein you are selling yourself, or you're communicating to your reporting officer about about your own contribution. Now, this is again you can say initiated across the organization, and it is an annual review which plays a very important role because you are giving an opportunity for an employee to speak about himself. Now, self appraisal also helps us to overcome certain hurdle in terms of biases or any errors that we discuss: halo effect, similar to effect, recency effect. All these errors could be avoided if we use the method called as self appraisal. Now, in self appraisal, what exactly you note down is: one, what I have achieved in the, or accomplished in the last 1 year. So what was your performance in the last year, and how do you rate your own accomplishment or your own achievements as against the last year? What was my contribution, and how is there any improvement, or have I worsened? Okay, have I improvised on my competencies? Okay, what was my contribution to my the KRAs or the KPAs that are listed? Now, to achieve this particular performance or accomplishment, what all contributed, what all helped me to perform that way? Okay, and you also mention what all prevented you from performing better. Okay, think that yes, of course, you have performed better from the last year, but still there are certain improvisation areas, isn't it? Now, for this improvisation area, to understand this, now you should tell us what are those factors which will actually help you to achieve that level, or you should also tell us what are those factors that are preventing you from doing better. Okay, and the last point, if you look at my slide, it says what are my own competencies and attitudes that help me to do better and that prevented me doing better. So if you look at self appraisal, these two points are important, because one side you're telling what is the contribution of your supervisor, what is the contribution of your organization for your performance. Secondly, you also tell what is your contribution for your performances. So through self appraisal, one, I can improve your own self, your own competencies, your attitudes, your knowledge, your skills, your certifications, your qualifications, and so on. On the other side, I can help the you by improvising the support from organization, from your reporting officer, from your boss, from your subordinates, and so on. So through self appraisal, I am trying to what you can say, facilitate you to perform better. Okay, and look at the next point here. What opportunities I have missed during the last year, and how do I propose to use them this year? And the next point, you see, what support I need from the seniors, and of course from the organization to give a better contribution towards the organization. And you also check what are my action plan. So the entire self appraisal process will tell you what have you achieved or accomplished. Okay, what contributed to your performance, what prevented you from doing better, what competencies and of yours has helped you to perform better, what opportunities you missed. Okay, what was the support of organization, what was the support of your supervisor, your own subordinate, isn't it? And ultimately, what is my action plan for the future? Now if you cover all this, it is called as the self appraisal process. Now this is the objective or purpose of doing the self appraisal processes in the organization. The next important concept here, performance analysis. The I can say I really love this topic because we are trying to analyze the performance. Now how do I analyze my performance? I try to understand where I have performed better, where I have not performed better. Now if I performed better, what are those factors that contributed towards my performance? If I haven't performed better, so what are those factors which have actually made me not to perform? So if you do this entire process, we coin it as performance analysis. I'll just quickly run through uh, the introduction part. If you see the definition there, performance analysis is the process of studying or evaluating the performance of a particular scenario in comparison to the objectives which was to be achieved. So it's like comparison. You see the slide, what was set and what is the actual. So set and actual, or standard and actual, you do the comparison, and you understand the gap or where we stand, and you also understand why is this gap. Okay, why is the gap small, why is the gap large, what are the factors. So all this is done in the performance analysis process. Now the question comes, why performance analysis? We have set the target, we have the actuals, you will get to know how much percentage we have performed, isn't it? This would be the answer. But again, why organizations go for this performance analysis? It plays a very important factor because you are identifying the facilitating factors, the factors that are motivating an employee to perform better in the organization. Now, what are these facilitating factors? Facilitating factors are the motivating factors. Now, what are these? These could be my own knowledge, my own competency, isn't it? The job that you have given to me, my own colleague is my facilitating factor, my boss is a facilitating factor, the organization as a whole is a facilitating factor. Okay, so through this process we get to know what are those factors which are enhancing the culture of performance appraisal. Secondly, you identify the hindering factors. Hindering factors are the demotivating factors, factors that are not allowing an employee to perform better in the organization. Now what are these factors which don't allow the employee to perform? One, maybe I myself, I don't have the skill, isn't it? That is a hindering factor. My boss, maybe my boss behavior is not that great facilitating me, so somewhere I say it is demotivating. My own colleague who sits next to me isn't competent, I somewhere feel I am better, and somehow I am deteriorating my own status or my own performances. Maybe the organization is not providing the n number of resources or the support that I require to perform better. So somewhere it helps you to identify the hindering factor. The question arises, what do we do with these two factors, isn't it? Now the first thing is improvisation of these facilitating factors, because these factors have already proved that it is enhancing the performance of the employees. Now what are we going to do with this? Of course, we are going to reduce those hindering factors, or these hindering factors have to be arrested, have to be analyzed, and have to be improvised. And third thing what we do here, or what is the objective here, is you are supposed to identify the factor that the reviewing officer or someone else in the organization can do something. So here in this entire process of performance analysis, we also identify the developmental plans. Look at it, developmental plans or the needs for the better performance. Now, this is how performance analysis are done in the organization. Now, next 2 points you can see again the self-explanatory one. To gain a better understanding about the appraisee, his role, his requirements, and the situation he is working. One side, of course, it helps us to identify why a person is performing, why a person is not performing. Is it his boss helping him, or is it the organization is facilitating him, or what is it that is making a person to perform and don't perform? That is one side of the story. The second side of the story here is we are trying to understand what is an appraiser, what is appraisee, what employee, yeah, what is his role, what are his requirement, under what situation is working. Okay, so entire employee work, what you can say, history is noted through the performance analysis process. Now, ultimately, one of the most important objective here is we are supposed to share with him the expectation and understanding of the appraiser so that the communication is increased. And ultimately, why we do analysis is like, communication building. It's all about telling this is the expectation, this is how you have to achieve. Okay, and then the employee says, or the appraisee says, I'm not able to do it because xyz reasons, can you improvise on this? And the boss says, yes, ultimately we'll do it, but I want you to enhance your competencies. So somewhere one-on-one discussions are done and the performance analysis process is done. Now you will have to understand the most important steps that are involved when we are doing this performance analysis process. The first one, you look at it, the appraiser should periodically keep reflecting about how well he is progressing in his work. So periodically, usually in the organization, what we do is we maintain these diaries every day, what we have done, what are the important things that we contributed. Okay, so what were the outstanding performances for a day. So that is most important because it helps you to add on to your performance analysis process. The second thing, whenever an employee comes across or feels that somebody helped him, okay, in his performance, that also has to be noted. Third thing, whenever an employee faces some difficulty and somewhere he feels that somebody did not help him, or some of the factors did not facilitate him to do better, so those points are also noted down by the employee. Now at the end of the performance period, the appraisee, what he has to do is he has to consider his own performance across the KPIs that we are going to set. He's supposed to consider his own efforts, his own difficulties that he faced, the context that he has done, under whose reporting officer's behavior he could do it, and he's supposed to rate himself. Now after rating is done, he should start listing the factors that they have helped him accomplishing the task and the factors that have prevented him from doing better. Now, this is how the performance analysis process happens. We start with noting down your own outstanding performance, or in a simple term, I say critical incidences. I am supposed to note it down. Now all these critical incidences, with that I have to write what helped me, what made me to perform better. Secondly, what difficulties I faced when I was performing. Okay, now at the end of the appraisal period, me as an appraisee, I am supposed to consider my own performance based on the KPAs, okay, based on the KPIs or based on the targets. Also I need to consider what I need to take into account, what are the efforts that I've put in, okay, what are the difficulties I could face, and finally whether I was able to reach the target or the result, and I'm supposed to help him. So once I say I was able to achieve something, there again I note down the facilitating factors and the inhibiting factors. Think that I could not accomplish few things, I note down that thing and I say these were the facilitating factors, these were the inhibiting factors. Now this document goes to your immediate boss. Your immediate boss sits with you and gets into the discussion, which is called as performance discussion and counseling. I hope you guys are getting it. Now let me clarify, whenever we speak about this performance analysis, two important words: one, the facilitating factor; the second one is the Inhibiting factor, excuse me. The first one, facilitating factors. As you all know, I'll repeat, I know, please don't get irritated. Facilitating factors are the motivating factors, the factors that allows an employee to perform better. Now when we speak about facilitating factors, there are many facilitating factors where you can group them or bifurcate. The first one, you see, personal or individual facilitating factor. In the sense, my own facilitating factor are my knowledge, my qualification, my competencies, my confidence, my strength, my experience working in 10 different companies. Look at it. So these are called as individual facilitating factors. You're getting it. Now the second one, facilitating factors attributable to the reporting officer. In the sense, the facilitating factors I perform because of my reporting officers. And what are those factors? First one, reporting officer's behavior was wonderful. He was friendly. He was competent. He was guiding us very well. His decision making was strong. Look at it. These are the facilitating factors attributable to the reporting officer. Third one, you see, facilitating factors attributable to the organization and its system. Appraisal periods are systematic. Appraisals are transparent enough. Okay. In appraisal process, an employee is allowed to speak. That's how I could perform better. Look at it. The culture is very open. Now, because of which I was able to perform. These factors are called as facilitating factors which are attributable to organization and its system. The fourth important thing here is facilitating attributable to the subordinates, people working under you, people working below you. Your success is because of the subordinates. If you say this, that comes under the facilitating factors attributable to the subordinates. Now the question comes, what are these? My subordinate was very cooperative. My subordinate was trustable. My subordinate coordinated very well with his entire team, because of which I was able to achieve the target. Now these are the factors which come under the FS, nothing but facilitating factors under subordinate. The last one, if you look at it, it is called as facilitating factors attributable to the external environment. Now external environment could be anything other than the organization. Okay, maybe the family was my facilitating factor. The economy which was booming outside could be a facilitating factor, isn't it? My own friends who are jobless, external factor which is making me to perform better, right? So these are the facilitating factors. I'll quickly run through it. Facilitating factors with respect to individual, facilitating factor with respect to reporting officer, facilitating factors with respect to organization and its system, facilitating factors with respect to the subordinates, and facilitating factors with respect to the external environment. The next slide will speak about the inhibiting factors. Inhibiting factors are also called as demotivating factors. These are the factors which are not allowing or which are inhibiting an employee to perform better. Now, similar to all this, similar to the facilitating factors, so you have the inhibiting factors. Look at the first one. Now it is called as personal or individual inhibiting factor. I am incompetent. Maybe I don't have experience working in this project. Okay, I lack certain competencies. I lack certain skill which is required to perform better. Now those come under the personal or individual inhibiting factors. Next one, my reporting officer was not open enough, was not providing any directions to me, didn't set a proper KRS, didn't set proper timings to me. Now these factors will come under the inhibiting factors attributable to the reporting officer. Somewhere my organization doesn't have a transparency in its appraisal period. Somewhere the organization doesn't provide any rewards post the appraisals are done. My organization is just doing a traditional process of appraisal. Now these are the factors which come under inhibiting factors attributable to the organization and its system. The next one, you see, subordinate. My subordinates are not trustable. My subordinates are incompetent. My subordinates are not able to reach their target. Now, these factors come under inhibiting factors attributable to the subordinate. Next one, if you see, inhibiting factors attributable to the external environment. So somewhere external environment also doesn't allow an employee to perform better. Now this is all about the performance analysis. So once such analysis is done, the somewhere the employee is to maintain all these documents. So once you identify facilitating and inhibiting factors, now it comes to the reporting officer or the organization. What an organization or a supervisor should do, he has to enhance, okay, he has to maintain or strengthen the facilitating factors, and he should also try to reduce the inhibiting factors. Now once this is maintained, okay, once this is maintained by the appraisee or the employee, now this has to go to the reporting officer. Now reporting officer is supposed to reflect. How is he going to reflect? He has to tell to maintain the what I can say external facilitating factors and to weaken the inhibiting factors. Now he just doesn't say strengthen and weaken. He has to mention the ways to do it. Now this report has to be passed to the reporting officer for his comment. So once this report goes to the reporting officer, once he signs, this goes for the action and implementation. Now this is all about performance analysis. Okay, I'll just quickly go through it. Performance analysis is to understand what was the standard set and what was the actual benchmarking versus your actual performance. So we identify the gap and try to identify why was the gap. Was it bigger or was it smaller? If at all bigger or smaller, what are those factors which were facilitating the person and which were inhibiting? So somewhere you enhance or increase or maintain these facilitating factors, which are also called as motivating factors, and try to reduce the inhibiting factors, which are called as demotivating factors. Well guys, this is all about performance appraisal process. If you look at the two videos that I have done, one which speaks about identifying the KRAs, KPAs, and of course the goals or KPIs with certain formats of KRAs. Of course, examples on how we are supposed to design the KPAs. And I told you to refer the textbook. You have very nice examples when it comes to performance analysis also. And we spoke about self appraisal, if I'm not wrong, self appraisal and why it is done and how it is done. Okay, what are the processes to be followed, and ultimately performance analysis. Please do refer textbook for few more examples. Thank you so much. The questions will come to you in the WhatsApp group.